Hey guys, welcome back to Legends Unleashed. Week one is in the books. Very exciting week one in some aspects, and not so much for other aspects. If your favorite team is the Raiders and the Browns, you guys should feel sorrow because we laid the ultimate egg week one. And Panther fans should be sad.
Yeah. And look at their, you know, the video they recorded the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. We'll not
Yep.
forget. But also, if I would not look at the comments of the Panthers posts with the 9/11 attacks, it was the most disgusting comment section I've ever seen in my life.
I don't want to see that. But no, but in all seriousness, we're really sad that what happened 23 years ago, just so disgusting what happened that day. And,
Yeah,
we were really united and hopefully we could stay united as a country going
yeah,
forward, and especially after a day like this. It's just so sad to see that what happened 23 years ago.
yeah.
Love to know where everybody was when that happened. I mean, I was only three, so I don't remember where I was.
I don't
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was like, man, like, I might have been getting babysit at that time. I don't know.
Probably something like
Yeah,
that. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we were gonna kind of recap week one, but if you live a bit under a rock by now and you don't know the scores, you might as well go look at it because we're not gonna do that. Well, we're gonna kind of do something fun with saying our breakout player
yeah,
and our most disappointing player for week one,
yeah.
and then we're gonna go into our week two predictions. That's how we're just gonna do it from now on. We're not gonna.
Yeah, it has to be weekly. Like weekly, we'll do a breakout disappointing player the following of the past week, and then we'll move straight into the following the next week after that.
Yeah,
We got like our thing for this channel.
yeah. And
Um,
like I said, we're trying to stick to one video a week.
yeah,
We don't want to get burnt out. I mean, it's kind of. I know a lot of people are already moved past week one, but we're kind of late on it. But we're still gonna do this, and
yeah,
so we'll next start out with his breakout player. We'll discuss it a little bit, then we'll go to mine, and then we'll do most disappointing player, and then week two predictions.
yeah. So my breakout player of the week, and the breakout player we mean is someone that was just like unexpected, that kind of came out of nowhere and had a huge game. And this is going to be also even special teams too, like
Or someone who, it wasn't maybe a total surprise, but someone who really impressed us enough that,
yeah.
wow, good for them.
Yeah, it's like the likes of like the Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, they have no chance to be on this list because we all know who they are.
Unless just I'm crazy, Patrick Mahomes gets 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, they'd have to have a NFL record type of day.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're doing Mahomes every week, man, this could be a boring channel. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, Mahomes, week one, yeah, week two,
yeah.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna start with this week one.
All right, so my breakout player, one of my favorite players in the school I love, Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins.
F-
I said I've really felt bad for his career. Injury after injury after injury, constantly. He can't stay on the field. And then with Baltimore, and then he goes to L.A. this past offseason, this offseason, and he was going to be the day one starter, and he had 10 carries for 135 yards and a touchdown. Huge game.
Hey, you can't forget he had 4 yards receiving.
Yes.
I don't care. It may not matter on that stat aspect, but hey, whatever. Go ahead.
He had also his longest run of the day was for 61 yards too. I think was it the touchdown that
Keep going.
I think that's for a touchdown that play. But it was a heck of a game for him. Sucks that had to happen to my friend here's Raiders, but I'm a huge J.K. Dobbins fan. I was so happy for him to have this kind of. I hope he builds on it. I hope he keeps building on it. I hope he becomes the player that we all thought he was going to be when he entered the NFL. I thought he was going to be a really good player in the NFL, but it really has for me. It really hasn't been bad play for him. It's more just injuries, and he's every year he gets some setback, and it sucks. And I really hope this is a year where he's going to stay healthy, stay on the field, and keep
12
building.
yards was his yards for the touchdown. 12
Okay,
yards.
so 61, I forget. He must have been stopped pretty short. All right.
To me, I agree with that pick. That was a really, really good one. I hated that he did it against the Raiders, but you know what? Good for the guy. We love Ohio State. We love J.K. Dobbins. The injuries have been a very, very big concern constantly.
The Bucks.
Uh, yes, sir. But yes, it was a long time coming for J.K. Dobbins, and I really like what he did this past weekend, and hopefully he can continue to be that running back they need. Because I thought, over the offseason they signed J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and I thought, is that a strong running back core? But if J.K. Dobbins can produce this season, what he did this past Sunday, sky's the limits for the Chargers running game.
Yeah.
After losing all Eckler, I thought that was going to be a big blow, but
Yeah, and him and Harbaugh are an interesting dynamic just because of the Michigan and Ohio State blood there. Um, but I have seen that J.K. Dobbins has a lot of respect for Harbaugh, and I think that's pretty cool.
good deal. For me, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was 24 for 30, 289 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And if you had to know, he ran for 21 yards. So it's an important stat.
It's important. It's still 21 yards, but
I think he had a really good game. I think he came out and proved he's going to be the starter, and he deserved that extension. And you know,
just keep going.
4 touchdowns is huge for that man. Um, Ghost.
Just easy, keep going.
Yeah, sorry, got a cat that's meowing. It's really driving me crazy. I want cats. But anyway, so I think he really had a good game and really proved he needs to be that starter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought they were going to be on a little bit of a downward slope a little bit this year,
Yeah.
but you know what? If he continues to play like that and do good things for um, Buccaneers, the sky's the limit. They can make a good playoff run like last year. They beat the Eagles in the playoffs, which that was big for them. So we'll see how it goes. Also, disclaimer when we do this, I know a lot of people are going to look at our players maybe throughout the weeks and say, well, yeah, they had a good game because they played against a crap team. But still, at the end of the day, they had a really good game and we really enjoyed it. Some people could look at it and say, they played Washington or Baker played Washington. And still, at the end of the day, he had a really good game. He had 6 incompletions. That's really good.
Yeah, and like J.K. Dobbins played. J.K. Dobbins has not had a good NFL career this far. I don't care if he's playing the Raiders. He had a great game.
And the Raiders have a really good defensive line, but
Yeah,
he did tremendous for what he's dealt with a lot of injuries. So,
yeah.
but I felt like Baker was my safe week 1 pick. But J.K. Dobbins is also a really good one. An honorable mention, Sam Darnold. And like I said, I know it's the Giants. I get it. But he still had a good game and he proved he could be that starter for them for the time being. And it may not be every week, but he still had a decent game and we
Yeah,
really like what he did. I mean, he was competitive, which was what they needed.
yeah, yeah. I mean, good for Sam Darnold. I mean, he has not had the NFL career that he envisioned, but I think he's a valuable backup in this league. And he had a good game, and also I think that he might end up having a pretty solid year. Um, he has a couple of really good receivers that he's throwing the ball to, and also just look at Geno Smith. It does not matter how your career started; what matters is how it finishes. And Geno Smith, same kind of guy who had a really bad start to his career, and then he ends up going to Seattle, and he's really like he's the guy that he was expecting himself to be earlier in his career, and it doesn't matter. It can happen to anybody. Yeah.
Okay, so our week 1 disappointments. You want me to start?
Yeah, you can
Okay,
start.
let me pull this down.
This is gonna be a big rant for me it's my turn. Just be aware for that.
And mine's a little bit of a rant, not terrible, but let me pause this video real quick. Okay, we're back. So we're gonna do our week 1 disappointments. Disclaimer: if they're playing a crap team, just shut up. Just try to be nice.
Or a good team.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, okay. So my week 1 disappointment is a guy who I'm hoping can take a big step forward in his year 2. And I spoiled it, but whatever. Bryce Young.
Yeah.
So I wasn't totally down on Bryce Young when he got drafted. I thought it was going to take time and developing and getting him to right system. Now, granted, last year they, I think honestly, they did disservice to that man. Who is his best weapon? At that point, it was Adam Thielen, who Adam Thielen isn't terrible, but he's at that point. His age is going to be a factor coming forward. I mean, now I think the 3 year contract they gave him that was smart. I mean, I think that was a low risk. I mean, they could really, and then he performed really well. But that was his best weapon. Now they added, and then they have Jonathan Mingo they got last year, but Jonathan Mingo has been terrible for them so far. But then they got Xavier Legette, who is awesome. They trade up to get him, and Deontay Johnson, who could be a very good target for him. But to me, he had 2 picks, only 161 yards passing, 4 sacks, 13 for 30. He had 1 rushing touchdown. And when we were watching that game, we thought he fumbled it. And I had a bet for him to get a touchdown. And we were all laughing because I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Out of all the times I needed him to get a touchdown, he doesn't get it, but he ended up getting it. So I'm glad he got a rush touchdown. But he just played so poorly.
Yeah.
I saw that. Uh, but to me, it's just really frustrating. I think, part of it is Bryce Young is very frantic in the pocket and he gets so nervous and he's got to do something with it. It's like, dude, slow down, get your guys open. Hopefully the line can protect you and be there. I want the Panthers to do good, but I mean, I just think there are ways to go. And I think they got to really rely and trust on Bryce Young. And I think the coach they got now, hopefully he's the answer. Because last year I thought with developing that, they got a great coaching staff they had last year, and they put it right in place for Bryce Young to hopefully succeed. But they didn't give him the weapons. They didn't spend the money on the weapons.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can get to it. And by the way, I was gonna make a short about this, and I never got to it. Really sad to see that Derek Brown's now gone for the season.
Yeah.
He got a massive extension to stay with the Carolina Panthers because they gave up Brian Burns, which was really sad. And he's tore his meniscus, meniscus in his knee, Derek Brown. So that was really sad to see that. I would hope for a speedy recovery for him, but that's my week one disappointment. I'm really sad to see he had a bad game, but he'll get there hopefully one day. But it's just gonna take him time. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. I, it's going to be one of the worst draft blunders in NFL draft history by taking Bryce Young over CJ Stroud. And
but I mean, you hope he continuously gets better. If he gets better, it's not the worst thing. But as of right now, oh, it's totally a shame. Now the rumor is that Frank Reich, their head coach, wanted C.J. Stroud, but their owner David Tepper wanted Bryce Young, which
it was the owner's decision, which
owner and GM, and I feel like the owner really persuaded them. And
yeah, basically whatever the owner says goes. This is how it is.
I
Yes,
mean, speaking with a Raiders fan, as a Raiders fan, when Al Davis was the GM slash owner, and he wanted Jamarcus Russell, and Lane Kiffin didn't think that was a good choice. And he fired Lane Kiffin. And one of the things he talked about in his press conferences, something about Jamarcus Russell. So the owner's got a lot of persuasion. I don't agree with it because I feel like I'm not saying every owner does, but I feel like mostly the GMs and head coaches study more of those guys and they go to the combines and they see and then they give their feedback to the owner, say, hey, this guy's could be the real deal. And maybe if Stroud would have went to the Panthers, it would have not been really good for him because of the situation they're in. But who knows? But to me, I'm hoping Bryce Young develops, and I'll let you finish up, and then I'll let you go to your player.
yeah.
If you
I
have any
mean,
more comments.
I just don't think he's ever going to be that guy in the NFL. I mean, he just doesn't have that it factor. He just doesn't. And I mean, I think maybe he could end up being an average QB in the NFL someday, but he's never going to be the number one overall pick type player. It's just never going to happen. He just does not have that. I mean, C. Stroud was right there. C. Stroud was right there. I mean, it's beside the point. They did it. Is what it is. But C. Stroud was right there. He's never going to be C. Stroud. That just over no. That's not going to happen.
And I just,
C. Stroud has just more just.
I had a good point and I lost it, but yeah, I don't know. If I think of it, I'll mention it later if I really need to. But Yeah, very disappointed week one. I mean, I'm hoping he can live up to the hype and be a little bit better, but he's got a ways to go to prove that. If I think of the what I was going to say, I'll mention it. But this is a
So
good one for his.
my most disappointing player, I'm gonna say as a Browns fan, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Watson. And I'm gonna speak about this in a Browns fan's perspective. We traded 230 damn million for this fucking quarterback, and he has not been that guy for us. Despite all the stupid allegations, we traded three first round picks and signed a 230 million, and he still is having crap games like this. His stat line for
He was a fully guaranteed contract too. That mistake.
but I'm going to say, Baker Mayfield had a great game. He was not the answer either. But the other is Sean Watson. So we're just QB hell here. His stat line was 24 for 45, 169 yards, one touchdown, and two interceptions. And his yards like his average per pass was 3.8 yards. He couldn't throw the ball downfield. He couldn't. He could not throw the ball downfield, and he's not that guy anymore. And also another, I mean, this is beside the point. I'm not going to go into it. Another allegation came out this a few days ago, which disgusting. I read a little bit through it. Absolutely vile.
Five rushes for 39 yards. You can't forget the stat line.
I mean, I'm sorry, and also it just no. I mean, there's a lot of I have a lot of disrespect for Deshaun Watson right now, but he is just not that guy anymore. And we traded. I mean, so I have read into it. The narrative that we're going to be in cap hell if he doesn't work out here, and we're going to be in cap hell in a couple of years. It's not really true. It's a really poor narrative that's being spread by the media. It isn't true. There's ways around it. And Andy Berry, as long as he doesn't get fired for has no decision, but that's beside the point. He is very good at manipulating the cap, and there is ways around it. I mean, a couple of years ago, the Saints had like negative 100 million in cap space, and they were,
Don't take that seriously. But they were.
yeah. I mean, well, were they?
The 100 million. I thought they were pretty down there, but not.
I thought it was 100. I could be wrong. Maybe I was wrong. I thought there was a negative
They
100.
were in financial hell for a long time.
Yeah, but they kept getting around it, and they were still competitive during those years. That's the thing. Like, there's ways around it. Now, also the Browns, a little bit a different situation because with the Browns, so we'll probably won't be competitive because that's just how it goes. Um, but and I think at this point, Deshaun Watson knows that he got his contract, doesn't really care anymore, and he's just going to go out there, play ball, and does not really give a crap about how he plays. He already got his money. Now, I will say though. If the whole, like, I don't want to speak much about it, but
We're not going to go to the allegations because it's not the right thing to do. It's
yeah,
not our channel. We don't want to say he did it and he turns out it was completely innocent. We don't want to say,
he didn't do it, but I not that
yeah, he didn't do it and he did it. So we're not going to point fingers. That is not our channel.
yeah,
We will never do that in this channel. If
yeah,
you want that, go find another channel who
yeah.
wants him.
But,
We're not doing that.
but the only thing I want to speak on about it is though that if he ends up getting suspended, um, then the Browns can get out of the contract. I hope that's not true, obviously, because it's absolutely vile. But that's it's just something to think about. But anyway, back to the football. I'm not going to speak much more about Deshaun Watson because I'm tired of talking about it. I've been ranting about it for the past week. He is terrible. I don't know what happened when he got to came to Cleveland. If he may drink some of our water, it's possible because maybe all the quarterbacks do that. They drink our water, and taking being trash. That's why I think if we would have drafted Tom Brady #1 overall back in, and to say hypothetically if he did back in that draft class he was in, I forget was it '98? I don't know. '99. Okay. Yeah, it was
No,
99. It was the same few classes as Tim Cousins. He was 99. If we would have drafted Tom Brady and Tim Couch went to New England
2000.
2000, okay. Tim Couch would be one of the greatest ever, and Tom Brady would be awful because that's the way how it goes in Cleveland. It's you don't drink our water. All right, I
Yeah, I think that's the right pick. You know, they give him all the guarantee money, and he hasn't lived up to his hype. He's got to improve going forward. I mean, the next game we'll talk about later. We'll talk about here soon, but he's got to improve going forward. So,
yep. And if he doesn't, like I said, for the Browns fan, I'm giving him 4 weeks. If he does not show me anything in those 4 weeks, bench him, put in a famous crab leg Jameis.
okay, moving on. So we both agree that that was pretty given. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go over our week two predictions.
Yep.
Um, I'll just go through it real quick and we'll say what we think. We're not gonna do scores. We're just gonna go who we think is gonna win.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna try to be a little bit quicker on it, like not like too quick, not like just skimming through it, but we're gonna give it.
yeah, I feel like sometimes we get rambling.
Yeah, and I felt a little too long probably talking about Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
but all right. So first game of Bills Dolphins.
Yes.
All right. So I have
Oh, and the Dolphins are favored by -2.5, and it's in Miami.
yeah, I'm gonna go Miami here. I think that Tyreek Hill is gonna have to be more extra generalized again after being arrested for plus second there. And I think that
Crazy.
um I also know they might get into it, but I have the Dolphins here. With it being in Miami, um, I think you know Tyreek Hill Waddle is be a tough stop for the Bills, and I got Miami there.
Okay. I have Miami also. I think if it was in Buffalo, it'd be a little bit different scenario for me. But I feel like, the combination of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is gonna be really good. It's going to be hard for Buffalo to stop that. I think really Buffalo struggled last week against Arizona, and they got lucky to get that win. I thought Arizona took it to them a little bit at times. So I feel like if it was in Buffalo, I would go with Buffalo. But if it now it's in Miami, I'm going to go with Miami. So
Yeah, good pick. Also, we haven't heard about Devon. I can't I cannot pronounce that dude's name. The running back. You know what I'm talking about.
Devon Enchi or whatever.
How to pronounce his name? I don't even want to try. He might be playing. Raheem Mostert is out.
Out. Okay.
Moser, yeah.
I'll go to
Um,
my next. We'll go back and forth. Okay, the next one is Raiders at Baltimore, and Baltimore's favored by -9. Raiders are going to start 0-2. I hate saying that, but I mean, it's realistic. I mean, Baltimore is going to really come out fired up playing in Baltimore, home opener for them. They're going to want to beat the brakes off the Raiders because they lost a very, really good game in Kansas City.
yeah, really devastating loss to them. There's a lot to go out of the game to be happy about for if you're a Ravens fan because like you're just a toe away from winning that game. Because I think they would have went they would have gone for two. I think they would have got it.
Oh, absolutely. They
'Cause,
were ready for it. They were pulling the Dan Campbell ready to go. We'd go for
yeah,
it.
I love that out of Baltimore that they were going to go for that.
Yeah. So yeah, I say Baltimore. I hate saying Raiders going 0-2, but it is what it is. Like I said, it's in Baltimore too. That's a tough environment, and I think it's gonna be a little bit too much for the Raiders to handle. But no, so
Yeah, good pick. I have also the Ravens winning that game. Um, Not much to say. It's just that I think that they're going to be extra generalized going to that game after losing in such a devastating fashion in last week's game. It was such a fun game to watch, like he said. Um, but I think the tandem of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is going to be too much to stop for well, I think Derrick Henry might. I think the Raiders can stop Derrick Henry because I really like the game's line. But the problem is though, it's the read option. It'd be too much to stop with Lamar Jackson and his running ability. I had the Ravens winning that.
okay. So next game, sorry, I'll just say the games real quick.
Yeah.
Next one on my list is Saints at Dallas Cowboys. Um, Good thing this game is not Louisiana because they're getting pretty bad hurricane.
Oh, well, okay, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they're getting a hurricane. It looks like it's not looking good. I'm hoping they can be okay for those people in New Orleans because that's what they experienced. Katrina was sad, but
Yeah,
it was
crazy after that.
sad. But so it's at Dallas. Dallas favors by -6.5. Um, you know, Cowboys had a really good show in week one. And so Saints played good for week one. I know they played the Panthers to get that, but they still had a decent showing. They really did. But I think with in Dallas, I think Cowboys will start the season 2-0, which is crazy to think. Um, I just think it's going to be a little bit too much. Um, I think Mark Parsons will have a really good game. I think it's just Dallas right now. I think they're going to start off really good, and then we'll see what happens from that. But I think it'll be a closer game, though. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But I have Dallas getting the slight edge.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think Cowboys win as well, but I think the Saints have a chance in that game.
No chance.
I just don't see it. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I think, see, Dak Prescott had a he had a bad game last week, but the only thing that didn't matter because they dominated the Cleveland in every other aspect. But he didn't have a good game last week, based off of every statistical analysis that you could look at. But also the Browns have a really good corners, really good pass defense. The Saints don't have that kind of pass defense. They have
Cowboys team for the Browns.
yeah, the Browns have a really good pass defense. I think I think Dak struggled because of the Browns pass defense. I think the Saints, besides obviously Lattimore's still pretty good. Is he hurt or is he
I
playing?
don't think so.
Okay, I just want to make
I
sure.
haven't heard yet.
I kind of remember if he got hurt or not. But Lattimore, they have Lattimore, but I think the Saints still have the pass defense that the Browns have. So I think it's gonna be two. I think Dak Prescott will have a much better game. And also the CeeDee Lamb is so hard to stop, and Cleveland could have stopped them. And
Undefeated at home last year, Dallas. So I think
yeah,
they're going to remain undefeated at home.
I think it'll be a blowout.
In the regular season.
Yeah,
They lost at home in the playoffs. But
yeah.
all right, so I have New York Giants at Washington Commanders. Commanders are favored by -1.5. I do think Commanders are going to get the first win this season. I don't think Giants are really. I think they're going to be one of the bottom tiers of the team. Daniel Jones last week. I want to see what his stats were.
He could have been picked for most disappointing player.
Oh yeah, he had 186 yards, 22 for 42, two picks. He was
He
bad that whole game.
yes. Sam Darnold was the most honorable mention for breakout player. I think Daniel Jones is
Could be one of them. Yeah,
could probably be for the most disappointing player on honorable mention.
yeah. I just don't think the Giants have a shot. I think Commanders are the. I think it's going to start slow for both teams because their Commanders are still trying to get their continuity going.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be too much for the Giants, and it's not going to be a pretty game when it's all said and done. I just think Giants are going to struggle immensely.
absolutely. I have the Commanders in that game as well. I'm expecting big things for Jaden Daniels this week. I think it's gonna be a big game. Um, he's the reason why I had them in the playoffs this year. Could have been a bad pick. He's like my conference pick, but we'll see what happens with that. But I think he's gonna have a big game this week. I think, and also Daniel Jones not good. So
Yeah.
I don't see it with the Giants this week. I have the Commanders right now.
Okay. Next game is LA Chargers at Carolina Panthers. Chargers favors by -6, which I'm surprised it's only -6.
I would say bet if you're betting man, bet the over.
Oh, absolutely. I would say the bet should be like 14.5. I'd go something like that. I have a Chargers winning there to start the season 2-0. Chargers played really well last week. If they get their running game going, um, like it did last week, if they get their passing going early on, they'll just take it to the Panthers. It's gonna be an ugly game. Losing to Derek Brown's gonna really hurt that defense, and I don't think there's. I mean, I really like J.C. Horn. I love J.C. Horn. He's a great corner, but he can't do it all himself. Losing Derek Brown hurts that defense,
Yeah.
and I think it's gonna be a very, very ugly, ugly game for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. All I ask is to feed Lad McConkey. I need him in fantasy. Add
Like he's a great
Puka
weapon.
add Puka Nacua, and now he's out for the first 4 weeks. So I need my other slot receiver in and Lavin Conklin to ball out.
But you
But
got one.
I have Chargers winning
Okay.
in blowout fashion. I think it's gonna be another big day for JK all day. Gus Johnson supporters, you know. But I think it'll be another big day for J.K. Dobbins. I think as long as he's healthy, but he's gonna have a big game, big day. I think the Chargers are gonna win that
I'm open. See, I'm going to hope for a lot, Bryce Young to have a good game, but I mean, I just think, you got to hope the offense can really do it. And the problem is, if that defense just keeps giving up big drives, offense can go back out there, offense can go back out there, and they're going to get tired. Defense has got to help them,
one.
but it's just going to be too much for them that day. That's in Carolina, though. I mean, ugh, I don't know. It's just going to be ugly. All right, next game we got is Colts at Green Bay Packers. It's in Green Bay, and Colts are favored by -3. Now, the biggest blow of this whole thing is Jordan Love's hurt. And okay, so Malik Willis looks like it's gonna start. I mean, I like Malik Willis. I thought he was gonna have potential. I think he'll have a decent game, but honestly, I think it's gonna be Colts just because of the fact that Jordan Love's out. It's gonna hurt the Packers a little bit. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout by any stretch of imagination, but I think Richardson's gonna come out and have a really good game.
Yeah, it's an excellent player. Everything that the Browns hope for in Deshaun Watson. He is that guy. He really is. I'm happy for him. We'll go on. This is what we were gonna say.
What guy?
It was AR, Anthony Richardson,
Oh yeah, yeah. Why'd you mention the Browns though?
because he's he's everything that the Browns hope for in Deshaun Watson.
Oh, like that kind of talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say the Colts are gonna win a little bit. It's gonna be a closer game in some aspects, but I still think the Colts are gonna pull it away at the end. So.
Yeah. Um, I am used to be a Malik Willis defender, but he was just not the guy I thought he was going to be
But
this
he has
season.
never had a fair shot to start.
He's not a fair shot, but he just got a shot last week, and he didn't even get to Hail Mary off.
He's not Aaron Rodgers, buddy.
I'm not expecting to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm expecting to at least steal the ball. The ball. That's all I'm asking.
So you say the Colts are the back.
I think they'll win by a couple scores. I think Anthony Richardson is that dude. Um,
Absolutely.
that 60-yard touchdown to Alec Pierce last week. It got me to sign Alec Pierce to my fantasy because of Puka Nacua being out. So I hopefully so AR, please feed Alec Pierce. But anyway, that's beside the point. I think that Malik Willis is not being a guy who's going to give him points, and they're just gonna. I think the Colts will focus on the run game, and I don't see the Packers really doing anything much on offense.
Well, and here's the big thing. Josh Jacobs has got to start early. Last week he struggled against the Eagles, and he finally broke out late in the game, and it was already too late at that point.
Yeah.
But to me, he's got to start early for them. So,
Absolutely. I thought the Packers looked really good with Jordan Love. It really sucks that with his injury.
yeah.
Next game.
Next game, I have San Francisco at Minnesota. San Francisco's by -6. I think San Francisco's going really big in this game. The defense is really good. What they have. Um, what frustrates me about Brock Purdy is he has a good game against really bad teams, and if he has a really good game, that's going to frustrate me because
Yeah,
he didn't have a big game last week.
yeah.
So he's got to have big games consistently. But I think their defense is going to be enough of a showing to really take it to the Vikings.
Yeah.
So,
Another candidate that could have been picked for our breakout player is Jordan Mason for the 49ers.
oh, that's right.
I mean, he had 28 carries, 147 yards, and one touchdown. I mean, he came out of nowhere. So
I
he
know
could have
exactly.
yeah, McCaffrey's been out, and I think McCaffrey's going to play this week, but I know he practiced today, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. He's a good flyer pick if you want to pick him in fantasy, but he's another honor mention there for a breakout player. But anyway, um I think 49ers are going to win, but close. I think it'll be a close game because I think Sam Darnold is going to build off his really good performance from last week, and I think it's another good game and a really tough 49ers defense, but with it being in Minnesota, I think it'll be a little bit closer than people expect.
Our next game is Cleveland at Jacksonville, but Jacksonville is favored by -3. I'm gonna go with this was a tough one because I mean I like what Jacksonville did last week. I think they fell short, didn't they?
They did. Yeah.
They fell short to Miami. They really hung in there. That's right, kind of grammar. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville and a nail biter. I think it's just because it's in Jacksonville, and I think Jacksonville's going to come back and win. I think 'cause they had that lead in the halftime and then they blew it, so I think they're gonna take the win, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a very reasonable pick there. I'm gonna go Cleveland here, and also a nail biter. I can see it going either way though, because both teams are
Won that win.
both teams are wanting that win. Both teams are coming off of disappointing losses. I think it holds a little bit more weight though with the Browns being blown out though last week. That they're really going to want to come in and get a win, considering they're losing the fan base already. Um, but I think it's gonna be a nail biter, and I think with because so the Jacksonville they have a really good run defense, but they have a really poor pass defense, a really poor pass defense. So I think that might help out Deshaun this week because he and I think that the Browns pass defense is gonna pass offense I mean is gonna improve this week. Um, and I think though that our defense will be able to shut down the Browns defense is going to be able to shut down the Jaguars offense. I think it'll be maybe like a game-winning field goal type of game.
That's fine.
Either way,
So, next game is Seattle at New England, and Seattle's favored by -3.5. I'm gonna go a little surprise upset. I'm gonna go New England. I like what Ramondre Stevenson. He's another breakout player who had a really good game
there's
last
a
week.
lot of candidates.
Yeah, that was tough to narrow down to just one. But I really like what the Patriots did last week. I don't think it's gonna be a totally a high scoring game, but I think Patriots gonna hold off in the end and win this game.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Seattle, but I get his point there though. I think though that Seattle has I think with the Patriots last week beating Cincinnati and I contemplated picking New England last week because I know how slow the Bengals love to start the season. They always love starting slow. No matter who they're playing, they always start out slow. But I think Seattle though is going to be a pretty good team this year, and I think they'll be close. But I got Seattle winning. I think the receiver core is going to be too much to handle. Or
Yeah, and the defense has got to show up and play the best they can in New England. But I'm gonna say a little bit of an upset. That's
yeah, yeah,
I'm not another upset along the way, but so far that's my big upset.
I like that pick. I really do.
Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We try to pause it every once in a while if we need a break for a minute. I need to drink water. It's good for you and everything. It's delicious. But anyways, we were going through stuff and just real quick, and we'll go back to the week two predictions. But we were looking at stuff and like they have this. I don't know the correct word. Apparel. They do like they do the military stuff. Uh, and then I think they do the breast cancer, the pink stuff in the NFL season. But then they do the crucial catch. Maybe that's in place of it. And it's intercept cancer. Everybody should know what that is. Every team does it every year. Yeah. But what is this? What is that? What is that?
Oh yeah,
Let's look at the back. That looks like someone put their pajama pants on there.
it does.
It's horrible. All right. Okay. All right. So next game is New York Jets at Tennessee Titans. Jets are favored -3.5. I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think they're gonna have a bounce back week. Okay. I think they're gonna have a bounce back week two. Um, excuse me. I think they're gonna have a bounce back that week one. I think they want wish they played a little bit better, maybe, but I think they're gonna take it to the Tennessee. Tennessee blew that game last. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm really sorry. They blew that game in week one against Chicago. which we'll get into that here soon about Chicago. But still, they blew that game, and Will Levis really looked disappointed in the end. So I think Jets are going to come out. Their defense is going to really take it to Tennessee, and I don't think it's going to be relatively close, but we'll see.
Good pick. I also had the Jets in that game. I just Titans with Will Levis, man. Makes too many dumb mistakes. And Aaron Rodgers, he had some really good moments in that game last week. With who were they facing?
49ers.
49ers, right? Yeah, on Monday night. Really big game. I mean, he obviously he didn't have like a huge game, but he had some really nice drives there and no rust. If you know, you know. Um, but but I think I have the Jets. I think the defense is going to be too tough for Will Levis to bounce back. I have the Jets winning that.
Yeah. Next game is Tampa Bay at Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are favored by -7.5. I'm going to say Detroit Lions. I think that they're obviously, I'm really high on them this year. A little bit, I would say, a stronger outing last week against the Rams. They took it to overtime, but I think they're gonna play a little bit better. They're gonna get better each week, and they're gonna really, it's gonna come alive for them at the near end of the season. So I'm gonna go Detroit Lions in that game.
Yeah, I am also taking the Detroit Lions um, against the Buccaneers. I think there's a good chance that Baker might have another good game, but I have big hopes for the Lions this year. A lot of expectations for them, and I think I'm having the Lions have another big game this week and take it to the Buccaneers.
Absolutely. Next game is LA Rams at Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals. Cardinals are favored by -1. I'm gonna go the Cardinals. Yeah, I am too. That's close.
I'm just a little surprised at the favorite.
Yeah. Well, I think with losing Puka Nacua, that really hurt them.
Yeah, with the
And
Rams,
Cooper Cup had a good game, but that's really if they having both targets, it could be a different outlook. But I think the Cardinals are going to win. I mean, they really played really good against Buffalo Bills, and they're going to take a little bit slower to start this season. I think that they're not going to be. They're going to have to find their groove late, like throughout the season. They're not going to be a team that sparks real quick or goes downhill real quick. They're just going to be up and down like a scatter plot. They're going to be good and then maybe bad. They're just going to be all over the place. But I really think they're going to. I think this game could be back and forth, and whoever wins can get a last second field goal.
yeah, it's a good pick. I'm also going to go the Cardinals. Um,
Oh, by the way, Marvin Harrison needs to have a better game.
they need to defeat him
They need to.
because they had the game-winning touchdown right there if they would have thrown the ball because he was wide open in the end zone in that last play, and Carl Murray, probably because he couldn't see over his offensive line, um, didn't see him. Anyway, feed Marvin Harrison. Same thing with the Giants and defeat the league neighbors, but that's beside the point. Oh, I'm sorry with my cat. He's meowing. He does that sometimes. Hope it doesn't bother you guys, but yeah, he's got fed. So, um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think the Cardinals gonna win. I think I think you got nailed it on the head with the loss of Puka Nacua for the at least 4 games. That's gonna kind of hurt their offense. I really liked how Matthew Stafford played in that game. But I think the Cardinals are gonna really come back and win that and want to win that game.
absolutely. I think it's right in their favor, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So next game is Pittsburgh at Denver. Pittsburgh is favored by -2.5. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I like what their defense did week one. Um, because I thought sorry, the cat's really crazy. I thought Bo Nick struggled. I think he's going to continue to struggle. He's playing up against a really good defense in Pittsburgh's, and I think that defense is going to get better for Pittsburgh, and they're going to really show up big time.
Yeah.
Now the offense has got to get going a little bit more. I felt like the offense kind of disappointed me. It wasn't like crazy,
Yeah.
but I think because then they score all field goals, just about.
Yeah. The Steelers did. Yes, they scored. It was all field goals.
And maybe Russell Wilson come back and stick it to Denver and Sean Payton. Hey, who knows?
Justin Fields is excited to start.
Okay, so Justin Fields,
You know,
yeah,
I feel you on that.
So I'm going to say Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Pittsburgh in this game. Um, I I don't think the Broncos are very good. The Steelers defense with TD Watt is still so tough, no matter what. I still don't really see it in Fields or Russell Wilson. Even, but we'll go talk about Fields here, but I don't really see it in Fields, but I think he's good enough to keep that off of the flow, and I think
Maybe make them competitive.
yeah, I mean, they're going to finish above 500. That's happening. Anybody who hasn't finished below 500 is lying to themselves. With Mike Tomlin, it's never going to happen. I got the Steelers in this game. Um, they beat a pretty good Falcons. We don't know if they're really good yet. We beat a Falcons team who I
It was
expected
really good on paper. They look really good on paper,
really good.
especially the offense.
Yeah. So I got the Steelers in this one.
Okay, so the next game is Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by -5. Okay, this could be an upset too. I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I think it's gonna go back and forth. I think, Cincinnati is all had Patrick Mahomes' number there for a little bit, and Jamar Chase always never says Patrick Mahomes' name. Is hilarious, funniest thing. But I think it's gonna go back and forth, and I think Cincinnati's gonna prevail at the end. I think that's gonna be another big upset for me. It may, I don't know. It's just Cincinnati's got to start. I mean, they should have played a lot better against New England last week. They still got a decent defense. They
Yeah.
still got a good offense. Hopefully, T. Higgins could play. I don't know what his situation is,
He's not been ruled out yet, but he didn't practice that today.
so it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, the most important day for the days that you practice is always Friday. So they have a couple of more days for him to practice. I don't think the expectation is for him to play this week, but I guess we guys gotta wait and see with that.
But yeah, that's gonna be my. So my biggest upset so far is probably what did I say? My big upsets were
Um, you had one big upset earlier on. Was it the Patriots, I think, right?
Patriots being Seattle, and then now I'm gonna say Cincinnati being Kansas City. But it's gonna be hard to play in Kansas City. That's gonna be really tough. But I could see them getting done. So,
Yeah. A nice aspect there. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
I
Um,
suppose the Chiefs.
anyway, I have the Chiefs. Bengals. They always start the season out slow. They always do. And it's gonna be a really tough week two matchup against Cincinnati. If I was Cincinnati, I'd rather play them middle of the year because that's when usually when the Bengals hit their stride. But week two, they just lost to the Patriots. Um, and I think it could be close, but if they're not going to have T. Higgins, I think it's going to be tough for that offense to really get going to where they need it to go. And also, Burrow needs to play better. He needs to play better. Um,
He's got two good targets without T. Higgins because he's got Mike Gesicki, so hopefully he can get him involved.
yeah, yeah,
And Zach Moss needs to have a big game for them. Their running game.
just feed him.
Oh, absolutely, I forgot about that.
All right, on to the next one.
Chicago at Houston. Houston's favorite -6. I think Houston's gonna win pretty big. I mean, for what Chicago did last week, Caleb Williams looked very disappointed. They really relied on that special teams and defense, and they can't rely on that every time because if they do, it's not going to be looking good for Chicago. But I think Houston's going to win big. CJ Stroud's going to keep continuously get better, and especially in Houston, I think it's going to be a long, long night because it's Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a long night for Chicago Bears.
Yeah, that could be a fun game to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna accept. I really hope Roma Dunze plays. I know he's hurt. I don't. He didn't practice today, as of Wednesday. He didn't practice. Um, but I think the Texans will be too much for the Bears to handle. Uh, and I have Houston winning pretty big. But I really hope that Caleb Williams has a better start. It wasn't really necessarily bad, but that offense couldn't get anything going last week.
Absolutely.
I think that Houston will win this one.
And then Monday Night Football, what everybody's waiting for, the final game of the week. Um, is Atlanta at Philly. Philly's favored by -6.5. I'm going Philly. It's at Philly. The offense of Philly's gonna be really good. Their defense could be still really good. I think they kind of disappointed me last week, Atlanta. I think it's gonna be a long night for Atlanta, and I think prime time for Kirk Cousins is gonna be tough. I mean, he's always struggled a little bit in that, but we'll see. I mean, I could see Atlanta really trying to pull the upset, but I think Philly's gonna be tough for Kirk Cousins.
Give me Atlanta.
That's the big upset. Oh my
Um,
gosh. No.
I think that really tough game against Pittsburgh, they're going to come out firing. I think it's going to be really close. Jalen Hurts is going to throw a couple of interceptions that were, and I think that Atlanta is going to pull up the upset. That's my upset for the week. It's risky. I'm delusional probably, but you know what? I'm going with the upset here, Atlanta.
Crazy. Well, guys, that's the end of our video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed doing this. Well, let us know what your week two predictions are, and hopefully we can have another exciting week of football. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.